Thank you all for joining us this evening for our business meeting and awards reception for the AAHD disability section. So excited to be back in person this year, and excited for those of you who are joining us via our live stream as well. We have that available through AAHD's YouTube and Facebook page, and we're excited to be able to do that this year. One of the things that we want to do is make sure that everybody feels welcome to Boston. So we've asked Bill Henning from the Boston Center for Independent Living to make a few remarks and welcome us here to this year's host city of Boston.
Okay. Thank you. I'm the Director of Boston Center for Independent Living. I've been involved in disability rights for about just short of 4 decades now. And it's so exciting that you're here in Boston. I hope you get out and get to see the city. I know everyone's been talking about the unusually warm weather. Some people might have even said if it continues this way for another few decades, all of this will be water here. The seaport's at risk very high of climate change, so it really gives us something to think of. But during the day today, I just loved it, soaking up some sun and some warmth. My good friend Linda Love, who invited me here today, said I could make a few remarks. And as I was thinking about what to say beyond the nice little welcome, it was to think of what was the biggest public health issue in the disability world recently. Well, obviously, it was the pandemic and COVID. I think a lot of us probably were involved in our hometowns or states or wherever, cities, fighting for access to masks, to vaccines, for better policies, public policies to ensure home care, things like that, all vital. But the thing that's most struck me, the thing that I worried the most about during the pandemic, and as we seem to be easing out of it somewhat, is what I call, without any hesitation, the massacre of people with disabilities and seniors in nursing homes. It was a virtual massacre. People died. It was utterly predictable. We have a system of care, it's a public health disaster, really, where we put frail people, vulnerable people, almost all of lower incomes, not all, but predominantly, many on Medicaid, into institutions, in rooms where you're living next to somebody you don't know who may be ill. You don't have privacy. There's noise. There's lights all night. It is not conducive to health. It is a public health nightmare. Before the pandemic, annually 380,000 people died in nursing homes. And then we had the pandemic. And, it's a pretty maudlin message. But as my friend Lisa Iazzoni, we'll hear about her great work later, said, it's being swept under the rug. We're moving past it. Let's move on to other things. Let's worry about the economy, all appropriate things to worry about. But our communities, people with disabilities, really suffered, and that institution is still there. And I would offer that may be one of our biggest public health issues in America. And to the degree any of us can march forward and address that, I think that would be great. So that's the welcoming statement from Massachusetts, where there was a lot of problems, and there still are. So some good news, there was an Olmsted Sioux fire about 4 weeks ago to start attacking this and force more people into the community. So thank you. Thanks for everybody. Thanks for all the great work you do. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much. I couldn't agree more. At this point, we do want to move on to our keynote speaker, who's Joe Holbrook. Joe is the team lead for the Disability Science and Program team, where he provides leadership to support the team's scientific and programmatic work related to improving health and wellness for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities and mobility limitations. Joe earned his MPH in epidemiology at the University of Michigan and subsequently his PhD in epidemiology at the University of South Carolina in 2011. He has been with CDC's National Center on Birth Defects and Developmental Disabilities, a name which, by the way, I think we need to change, but that's another issue, for 11 years, and during this time, his work is focused mostly on child development, mental health, and disability. His technical expertise includes leveraging existing data sources, collecting new data for existing systems, and the development of new systems for answering complex research questions. So, Joe, please come on up.
Thank you, and thank you, Karl. May I say that Karl didn't use the word keynote when he asked me to speak, and I think he knew it would make me nervous, but here we are. It's great to see you guys. My name is Joe Holbrook, as Karl said. I'm here as a representative from CDC's Division of Human Development and Disability. I come with good news and good news. The first good news is that I'm going to be brief. The second piece of good news is that I hope I have a little something for everybody, in that people who've been around a couple of decades since the origin of our division, and people are fresh and new to it. So I think that's good news anyway. Can I get an amen? Amen. Thank you. Okay, let's get to it. So our vision and our mission and our core goals drive everything that we do at the Division of Human Development and Disability, referred to us as DHDD. As you see, you can partially see at the bottom of the screen, building the evidence base, improving health outcomes, reducing health inequities. These are the four sorts of things that we work on in our division. We do so through 62 FTEs, 54 fellows and contractors. Any quick mathematicians out there? How many 62 plus 54? I know there's somebody. 116. 116. Karl, I owe you a code. We do so. We conduct our work with about an $80 million division budget each year. And we're really proud of our scientific publications. Since 2019, we've had about 70 of them to disseminate the good work that impacts the communities we serve. This is our Office of the Director of our division. This is a wonderful group of 14 people. In particular, I put this on here because the person in the top left, whom some of you know, Dr. Karl is our new division director. She's about 2 weeks in. We haven't scared her away yet. She comes to us most recently from Delaware, where she's most recently been the director of their Division of Population Health. The others on there conduct and oversee a lot of the work of our division in research, in science, in policy, in communications, and of course the important work of keeping the office going. Our division is split up into 2 branches, and within those, each bullet here, most of the bullets represent an individual team. And so for folks who've been trying to get a sense for the breadth of the work that we fund and that we support and that we conduct in our division, this is kind of the nuts and the bolts of it. On the left side is Disability and Health Promotion branch. That's where my team is. That's where we fund the good work from the state disability and health programs, which many of you are familiar. the National Centers on Disability and Health, big ones being Special Olympics and NICPAD. We maintain and update the Disability and Health data system, of which we're very proud and we're so thankful that you continue to use. Also have the Early Hearing Detection and Intervention team, the group who's responsible for newborn hearing screening and also children's emergency preparedness. On the other side, it's a lot of work in autism. And there's a full team on surveillance, a full team on epidemiology, a full team of people working on learn the signs accurately, a group of people who are responsible for those developmental milestones and getting the word out. Those also do a lot of applied research on ADHD, Tourette syndrome, children's mental health more generally, and Fragile X. And of course, with all of that comes a lot of statistical support. As this is nothing new to anybody in this room, health equity. The importance of health equity is something we've been emphasizing in our division for quite some time. Since the beginning of the pandemic, it's also raised and elevated the conversation where we understand that health equity is much bigger from an agency perspective than it may have been respected before. And so with that also comes a bigger voice, a louder voice in disability being a part, an important, a key part of health equity. And for that, I suppose it's a silver lining. It's something for which I'm thankful as we go forward and continue to make improvements in our work. Where disability is a big part of health equity, not just within our division's work, but across the agency. Doing okay, Karl? Yeah. Okay. Give me the nudge. As we learned about in the last session, there's a lot of opportunity for improvement. There are some things that we can do better, and there are some things we need to do better. Is that a fair assessment of some of the conversation from last session? Thank you for the nods. I appreciate that. A big one that we all agree on. We need better data on people with disabilities. Since the beginning of the pandemic, it's really shown a bright spotlight on the need for collecting better data on people with disabilities. And we want to continue to shine that spotlight and continue that work forward. Secondly, more inclusive policies and partnerships to address the needs of people with disabilities. And then finally, accessible communication. These are the three broad thematic buckets where reflecting back on the work of our division over the last 3 years, we think we've grown a lot, and we need to continue to grow more in the future. As I alluded to just a minute ago, disability as an important part of health equity is not just a conversation being held within our division anymore. And an example of that is when our agency director, Dr. Rochelle Walensky, recorded a video which was promoted and pushed and supported in all our usual promotion channels, celebrating the anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act. Many of you also know my colleague Justin Lushbaugh. He got to provide a supporting video alongside Dr. Walensky. So a wonderful highlight internally that we were proud of as well, where our program is being discussed and promoted at the highest levels and broadest channels. This is where I go rogue a little bit, because I was speaking on behalf of our division, but I'm the team lead for the Disability Science and Program team, so I've got a couple things that I'm most proud of, and I wanted to make sure we at least get a mention out there. One is our Disability and Health Data System. This is an interactive online tool available to the public for people who can, for people who have an interest to go in and easily get information at the state level on 6 functional disability types from our ACS 6 and across about 30 health indicators. It's, by our standards, fairly high traffic webpage, which keeps us going and keeps us motivated. So if you're one of those who visits the DHDS every so often, then please continue to do so, because know that we see those clicks, and that's what keeps us going and motivates us to improve it and modernize it and to see how we can make it better as well. So that was one piece of growing growth. The second piece that that I'll finish with here is related to our state disability and health programs that we fund, of which there are 10 right now. Right now, I want to put in the plug for promoting healthcare provider training. It's a little small on the screen there, but there are 2 trainings. One on providing healthcare and screenings to individuals with disabilities, and another on accessible and adaptive communication. And please, these are developed by the University of New Hampshire. I didn't put a link on here. If you're unable to find it, please let me know. That's another thing that we want to get out. And these healthcare provider trainings, as we know, are so important. And the development is one piece, and the dissemination is quite another thing. I said it would be brief. I hope I followed through on that. I want to say thank you for having me. I want to say a special thanks to Karl and Meg and BJ and others. You guys are a shining example of what happens when you put a little extra effort into making somebody feel included. You've done that, and I feel included, and thank you for that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joe. And I also wanted to make sure that folks are aware, one of the reasons we asked Joe to speak is specifically because many people in the section might not realize just how important NCBDDD is for our section. We do get grant funding through APHA from the center, and they're the ones, so later on when we're talking about our scholarship awards, they're the ones that help us provide those. If you're participating in tomorrow's mentoring lunch, they're the ones that helped underwrite the cost of the mentoring lunch. So we're very excited that they are here and helping us to provide resources. And one of the main things we do with those resources is try and do outreach to our students and our early career professionals to bring them along in the field and make sure that they feel supported. So we're especially thankful for Joe and all the work that the center does to make our lives a little better so that we can do more for those that we're trying to mentor in the field and bring through. So thank you very much. If you don't mind, I'm going to take just a few minutes to talk to you about another research data set that you may or may not be aware of. And that's one that my organization, the American Association on Health and Disability, is very involved with, and that's the NIH All of Us Research Program. I'll be very brief on this, but many of you probably know about this program already. Some of you don't, and I want to tell you about a new exciting thing that we have that we'll be doing as part of our engagement for this coming year. The NIH All of Us Research Program is an initiative that was launched by NIH in May of 2018. The idea is to have 1 million or more Americans enroll in this research program and follow them over at least a 10-year period, could even be longer. The idea is we really want to have longitudinal data to be able to track people to see, to ask what question is this research program trying to answer. There really is no limit. They want to be able to track a lot of different things so that they can access a lot of possible answers to things. So what they're trying to do is gather data from 1 million or more people to accelerate research to improve health that individualizes prevention, treatment, and care for everyone. The All of Us research core values, I'm going to just highlight a few of them in terms of what really is important here. One of them is participation in the All of Us research program is open to all interested individuals. It's also going to reflect the rich diversity of America. And those are the two that I really want to focus on, because what this boils down to is they don't want this to be another biomedical research study that's made up of folks that have typically made up of biomedical research studies. 50-year-old white males, which includes me. Now, there's one wrinkle with me that is different than others, and that is that I have a disability. And people with disabilities have unfortunately been underrepresented in biomedical research studies in the past, unless it was specifically about their disability. So we want to make sure that that is addressed. we do feel that it's important that there is the idea that the concept within the disability community of nothing about us without us really takes hold in this study as well. And we're really turning that back on the disability community and saying, if we truly believe in nothing about us without us, when there's a program that is trying to ask us to be involved, then we need to make sure we're answering the call. So that's one of the things that we're really trying to highlight with that. In terms of what is trying to be accomplished, like I said, it's about precision or personalized medicine, which is really trying to do an emerging approach for disease and treatment prevention that takes into account individual variability in lifestyle, socioeconomics, environment, and biology. And we're really excited about this because from the disability perspective, we all know that there's more that makes up our health than just our biology. Unfortunately, in the past, NIH and those kind of studies have looked only at biology or genetics. They haven't looked at socioeconomic factors. They haven't looked at social determinants of health. And we all know that those play many times a larger role in our health than the biology stuff. So really, this is a transformational shift in a research study for NIH. And it really does represent, in my mind, a move away from the medical model that maybe has NIH has usually used, and moving it more towards the social construct of disability that we all know and recognize really needs to be used for the purposes of good research. So what's the cost of imprecise medicine? Well, for individuals, it ends up being a lot of trial and error method of medicine. You go to the doctor, they say you've got high blood pressure or you've got high cholesterol, and they prescribe you a drug, and that drug doesn't work. And you come back and you're like, well, maybe we should try a higher dose, or maybe we should try a different drug. Meanwhile, you're going through all these different side effects potentially with the drug, but you're not getting the benefit. The idea with this program is hopefully we can get answers to questions that will provide better information, and that's just one example, but better information so that from the outset they'll be able to treat people better. And for researchers, which is where we really want to try and start doing our researcher engagement this year with disability researchers, is it's going to really save on trying to find data sets. It's really going to bring a bunch of people together, people with and without disabilities, that you'll be able to do comparative analysis for. And that's one of the things that we want to really make sure that folks that our disability researchers are aware of, so that we can engage with you and you can find out how to use the data set. What's included in the All of Us research study, there are 6 core surveys. I'm not going to sit here and explain exactly what all of them are, but on the slide, there are specific things that are available in terms of core slides, core surveys. And one thing that I really want to make sure that I highlight is the fact that they released this year a social determinants of health survey. And we're especially excited to start getting some of those results back and seeing exactly how they track and how it does affect health overall. So what's the promise for researchers? For researchers, like I said, it's about trying to save time and resources to accelerate research breakthroughs. It's trying to give you the ability to share workspaces and analysis with research partners and reviewers. And it's a chance to learn from the program and pilot research programs that have been done and experiments to leverage innovations for other studies and other cohorts. If you're interested, you can go to researchallofus.org. That's the researcher hub. If you're just interested in becoming a participant in the program, you go to joinallofus.org. But researchallofus.org is the researcher database if you want to start getting information. Many of your institutions may already have agreements in place that would give you researcher level access. There are different level or tier levels based on whether or not your institution has an agreement in place with the program. Or if you're just a general citizen scientist, you can get access. It's going to be limited access to some of the data, but you will be able to get access to the data. And like I said, this is a screenshot for the researcher workbench and what happens when you go there. One of the things that I do want to point out in terms of what we're doing and why we're bringing this up today at tonight's business meeting is at AAHD, we're going to be doing some researcher engagement this year. And one of the ways we want to do that is to get a core group of researchers that are interested in becoming part of an advisory group. Some of those are folks that are already helping us do outreach on the program, researchers that we've already worked with, but we also want to add additional new researchers that we haven't been working with on this program. So be on the lookout for information from us in the coming weeks. to put that, as we put that advisory group together. I would also point out that if you have specific questions, you can reach out to either myself or Jacob Ditch, who was, unfortunately, he is at the conference, but he's not feeling well this evening, so he's unable to join us. But he will be here. If you see him in the next couple of days, you can also ask him about it. And we're happy to answer questions. And if you're interested in being part of this research or work group that we're putting together, please let us know, and we will make sure that you get added to that. So now that I've done my promotional plug that I was looking to do, I want to thank everyone for indulging me on that. I do want to make sure that we take some time, though, to acknowledge our executive committee members that were able to help us put this program together over the last few days. It is a team effort that this all happens, not just tonight's ceremony, but also all the work that goes into the programs that you're participating in throughout this time, and also the stuff that happens throughout the year, whether it's student webinars or some of the communication and newsletters that we put out, social media, any of that kind of stuff. Those are all, it all happens as a result of team members that are here. So I'm going to just go through and acknowledge our executive committee members. For those of you that are here, I would ask that you stand or raise your hand, whichever you're comfortable doing, so we can acknowledge you, and I would ask that you save applause for the end. Obviously, I am the current chair of the section. Our immediate past chair is Meg Tracy. Our chair-elect is Vijay Vasudevan. Our governing counselors are Christine Mulhorn and Amy Raworth. Our treasurer is Ilham Akrabashayev. Our secretary is Erica Twardzik. Our student secretary is Kara Manor. Our program chair is Lindsay Mullis. Our student program co-chair is LaBronda Callender. Our awards chair is Linda Longbalil. Our membership chair is Yokai Eisenberg. Our student liaison is Christina Kim. Our communications chair is Allison Hoyt-Tubbs. Our mentoring co-chair is Mike McKee. Our other mentoring co-chair is Dot Neri. Our student mentoring co-chair is Meredith Williams. Our other student mentoring co-chair is Hannah Mashesha. Our policy chair is Barbara Kornblau. Our student policy co-chair is Sarita Nolan. Also serving on the program committee is Robin Powell. And our accessibility liaison is Mackenzie Jones. So we want to thank all of those folks for all of the work they do throughout the year, and really appreciate everything that they've done. Like I said, everything you're seeing going on during the conference, this is a group effort, and I really want to thank all of those members for their involvement. This the conference does mark the end of the terms for many of our members, so I do want to say some thanks to some of the members that we do have of our chair of our executive committee. So the folks that are going to be transitioning off our executive committee or transitioning out of their roles is first of all, is immediate past chair Meg Tracy. I will be going into the immediate past chair role, and VJ will be taking over at the end of this conference. Our program chair, Lindsay Mullis, is also going to be transitioning out. Our mentoring co-chair, Dot Neri, will be, and also our two student mentoring co-chairs, Meredith Williams and Hannah Mashesha, will also be transitioning off. So we want to especially thank them for all the work they've done over the years. Once again, this work would not happen without them. So a special thank you to those of you who are leaving. But with people leaving, that does give us some exciting new opportunities for new people to be coming in. So I do want to acknowledge some of those folks that are going to be joining our ranks. First of those is our chair-elect, Catherine Froelich-Groby, will be coming in as our chair-elect. Our program chair, Robin Powell, will also be taking over. And while I did say that Lindsay was going to be leaving us as program chair, she's not going to leave right away. She's going to help Robin with that transition. The program chair is such a big job, and a lot of work goes into that. So Lindsay has agreed to sort of stay on and help Robin with that transition so that we don't lose anything with that. We also have a new mentoring co-chair. Hillary Brown will be coming on. Also another early career professional mentoring co-chair, Rumi Agarwal, will be coming on our team. And our student mentoring co-chair, Elle Sorensen, is also going to be joining our team. So excited to have those 5 individuals joining on the EC in their new roles. And we mentioned the mentoring co-chairs and the like. We also do have a mentoring session tomorrow where we're going to be specifically looking at what we do to try and mentor some of these student leaders and other early career professionals that are coming in. And we want people to be aware that there is an opportunity to be involved in the mentoring program that we have at the disability section. It is a program where we're really aiming to sort of work to develop that public health workforce in the future. There's a QR code on the slide that you can see there. If you're interested in signing up for that, there's also going to be a session tomorrow that's taking place 12:30. You can check your program at 12:30 tomorrow. That will be going on. For those who registered ahead of time, there'll be a lunch available. If you didn't, feel free to still join us. We can still make room for folks. We may not have a lunch, but we can make sure that you can get involved in the mentoring program, as we really feel it's an important way to get involved. And there's also an email on the slide, which is disability section mentoring@gmail.com. So I would encourage you to reach out to that if you're interested in getting involved. At this point, we want to turn our attention to the awards portion of the program. So I will turn it over to Linda, who will take over for this portion.
So last year, we initiated a new award called the Peg Music Award. And Peg Music was near and dear to the hearts of many of us here at APHA's disability section. So we instituted that award in her honor.
Tell me when you want me to advance the slide, let me know.
Oh, okay, I will. So we realized we had done that last year and hadn't explained who Peg Music was. So we thought this year, especially now that we're all together, we really ought to explain who Peg was and what she meant to all of us. So I'm going to introduce Meg Tracy, who's going to talk about Peg's life and her impact on all of us and our work. Thank you, Meg. Thank you, Linda.
I'm honored to read the script for this slide deck prepared by my esteemed colleague Rosemary Hughes. Dr. Margaret Ann Nosek, or Peg, a renowned social activist, groundbreaking researcher, fierce advocate for people with disabilities, and a staunch defender of human rights, passed away in Houston, Texas on November 21st, 2020. This photo, we see Dr. Nosek, or Peg, is smiling, holding a bright bouquet of Gerber daisies and other flowers. Peg is wearing a salmon-colored top and has purple highlights in her hair. There's a bookshelf behind Peg. Photographs of Peg in this slide deck show Peg wearing glasses, using a power filter and a ventilator. Peg was the founder and executive director of the Center for Research on Women with Disabilities, or CROW, in the Department of Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation at Baylor College of Medicine, where she and her team worked tirelessly to promote, develop, and disseminate information to improve the health and expand the life choices of women with disabilities. This slide shows the CROW logo. Peg once said, "If you truly believe you are a woman of value, you gain tremendous strength to forge your way through the most stubborn of barriers." She spent most of her life in her advocacy work and research, helping other women appreciate their own value and forge their way through those barriers. This photo of Peg is of her smiling, wearing a cream-colored cardigan and a blue blouse. Peg and her team substantially advanced the empirical literature on women's health in the context of physical disability. Together with colleagues, Peg conducted seminal research on topics such as violence and abuse, sexual and reproductive health, self-esteem, access to health information and healthcare, secondary health conditions such as obesity and depression, and health promotion. PEG has left a legacy of researchers who are strongly committed to engaging in research designed to empower and improve the health and well-being of people with disabilities so they can fully participate in their communities. The three photos on this slide are of PEG, left to right. First, PEG is smiling over a paper that she is reviewing, pen in hand. Second, PEG is speaking at a meeting using a microphone. And the third is simply a PEG smiling, wearing a green top. PEG was also a trailblazer in utilizing new technology to present to audiences. PEG was a popular speaker for numerous local, state, and international disability organizations. She was also a popular speaker at professional and academic conferences. Some of you may recall PEG using a robot that she controlled from home to attend, present, and interact with colleagues at a previous APHA meeting. This photo is of PEG's video image and a double robotics telepresence robot. PEG is smiling and someone is holding a microphone to amplify PEG's remarks at the APHA disability section Chairs Forum, where PEG served as a judge for the student debate. PEG also presented on universal health care at this conference using this technology. PEG's advocacy for the health, independent living, civil rights of women with disabilities was conducted by, with, and for women with disabilities. She was always focused on the women. The women fueled her passion. PEG had incredible talent for connection and collaboration through her research, advocacy, training, and teaching. Her energy was, phenomenal. She was a role model, mentor, colleague, and a friend for many who will continue to advance her mission. Pictured here are some of PEG's closest colleagues. Individuals on the left side, left to right top, are Heather Taylor, PEG and Rosemary Hughes. Left to right bottom are Susan Robinson Whalen, Linda Nora Davis, and Carol Holland. And then there's a group photo, left to right, Cedar, PEG and Rosemary Hughes. Left to right, standing are Susan Robinson Whalen, Sandra Bookman, and Shemaine Barrow. At this moment, we also want to recognize colleagues who may be attending tonight, such as Joanne Theory, Gloria Cron, Dot Mary, Margaret or Peggy Turk, Fran Chevalery, and many more. I just want to look around the room and say, are there folks in the room who were influenced by Peg's work and were had the opportunity to meet? Yeah, so many of us. These are a couple of quotes from Peg's John Stanley Coulter Memorial Lectureship in 1999. Peg stated, medical science has grabbed me from the jaws of death on many occasions, but it reaches the end of its expertise when I present the secondary conditions and other effects of living with very severe physical impairment for such an extended time. She also said in that lecture, as I study a lot of my sisters aging with disability around the country, I see that the rising tide of social and medical progress has not raised our ship along with others. While PEG's accomplished a great deal and blazed the trail for those who have come behind her, she understood full well that there was so much still to be done. This, next slide. And slide 8, this is the last one. This is a photo of Peg Messick with Rosemary Hughes smiling together. Dr. Rosemary Hughes, one of Peg's closest colleagues, reminds us that Peg Messick's life was one of passion and purpose that today inspire and encourage you to build further in her legacy to advance the health and well-being of women with disabilities. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Faye. Kate was a beautiful soul who had a huge influence on many of us. And so I'm pleased to have her name be the motivation for an award this year. And in any case, before we move on to some of the awards, I first want to introduce the individual who's going to introduce the winner of our Life Achievement Award. So I'm going to ask Dr. Monica Mitra to please come up to the podium and introduce the Lifetime Achievement Award winner. There's no microphone over there, Mom. Gotta sit down.
Hi, everyone. So it is my honor, my privilege, and my absolute delight to bestow the APHA Disability Section's Lifetime Achievement Award on my friend and colleague, Dr. Lisa Ezra. So Lisa needs no introduction to us, to the disability and health research community. We are all deeply familiar and grateful for her research. And I've probably cited her at least once, if not multiple times, in our research papers, in our reports, in our grant applications, and in our research presentations. As a health policy researcher and scholar with a disability, Lisa has forged new paths to foster inclusion and sensitivity within the medical profession. Trained at Harvard Medical School, Lisa has continually applied her education to advancing the rights of disabled people by influencing healthcare policy, practice, and research. Throughout her career, Lisa has consistently marshaled her skills to advance research on improving the lives and outcomes of people with disabilities. She has not only been a pioneer within the field of disability policy. As a researcher at Bethesda Deaconess Medical Center, Lisa broke the glass ceiling to become the first woman to be appointed professor of medicine at Harvard Medical School. Lisa's tenacity, intellectual curiosity, and commitment to disability justice has led her to research topics that are rooted in real-life concerns that affect people with disabilities, their families, and the clinicians with whom they work. So here we are. It is more than 30 years since the passage of the Americans with Disabilities Act. And much has changed for disability rights and access. We also know that many things have yet to change and that we have a long way to go for equal access and equal rights for people with disabilities in the United States. And a substantial share of the evidence that helps in shaping our fight for health equity for people with disabilities in the United States is authored by Dr. Lisa Ezra. And this field, disability and health research field, owes much to your work, Lisa. And I am thrilled that we are honoring your trailblazing career and your ongoing contributions.
Okay, so another person that we have over the years named an award after is Dr. Alan Myers. Dr. Alan Myers was at, I believe, at the BU School of Public Health years ago. And he also was a person who combined research, teaching, and advocacy in ways that really advanced our cause. And so we created an award in his name. And the winner of this year's Alan Myers Award is Dr. Michael McKee. Dr. McKee. Before I move on to the next award, that Dr. McKee is nominated by Dr. Philip Zazoff, Diane McKee, and Justine Wu. He's a practicing family physician who is also a renowned researcher, teacher, and one whose work focuses on the health and well-being of people who are deaf or hard of hearing. In addition to serving as a peer reviewer for several journals, including the Disability Health Journal, Dr. McKee is a prolific author and with at least 77 peer-reviewed publications to his name and recipient of numerous AAHD grants. So thank you again, Dr. McKee. Okay, next we have the New Investigator Award. The winner of this year's New Investigator Award is Yunkai Eisenberg. Dr. Eisenberg was nominated by Vijay Visudevan, and he's an assistant professor. Serving as a member of the Disability Section Executive Council, and last year he was also a member of the Awards Committee. So thank you, Dr. Eisenberg. Okay, so I shut my computer off. Next, I want to announce the winner of the 2022 Health Equity Award. The winner of the 2022 Health Equity Award is Dr. Lynn Flores. Dr. Flores was nominated by Dr. Betsy Mitchell of the CDC and is Associate Director for Communications with the CDC's National Center on Birth Defects and Developmental Disabilities, the NCDDD. In the early stages of the COVID pandemic, Dr. Flores led the COVID-19 Accessible Communications Project to ensure the provision of COVID-19 information in accessible formats for disabled individuals, caregivers, and health providers in both English and Spanish, and in a wide variety of modalities. Because of her work to advance equitable access to this critical information, I'm pleased to honor her, Dr. Lynn Flores, with the Health Equity Award. And now we come to the winner of the Pagan Norfolk Award. As you can imagine from the presentation you heard a few moments ago, Rosemary Hughes was a very close colleague and collaborator with Dr. Pegnosi, and so she is this year's winner of the Pegnosi Award, Dr. Rosemary Hughes. Unfortunately, she cannot not to be here tonight. And her award is going to be accepted by Meg Tracy, but first let me tell you a little bit about Rosemary. Sorry. Rosemary Hughes was a senior investigator in the Center for Research on Women with Disabilities, fondly known to many of us as CROWD. CROWD was founded by Dr. Nozick, and Rosemary served as CROWD director from 2002 to 2006. She participated in groundbreaking research and publication on the health of women with disabilities. Actually, when I started my own research on health and women with disabilities, Peg Nozick and Rosemary Hughes' work was just about all I could find for a while. So it was really seminal work. The work included some of the earliest research on reproductive health of women with disabilities, as well as seminal research on physical and sexual abuse experienced by those of us who are women with disabilities. These studies drew attention to important but hitherto overlooked aspects of the experiences of disabled women. For this reason, Rosemary Hughes is the perfect person to receive the Peg Nozick Award in 2022. Mary? Okay, now we have a picture of Mackenzie. Okay, so the recipient of this year's Student Award is Meredith Williams. You see a lovely picture of Meredith up there on the screen. She is another person who could not be with us tonight. Meredith is a student in public health at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. Meredith served as Health and Disability Fellow with the National Association of County and City Officials, which is a program funded by the CDC, where she promoted included and engagement of persons with disabilities in all local health department activities and policies nationwide. She is founding co-leader of DREAM, the Disability Rights Education, Activism, and Mentoring program at her university, which provides peer support, connection, and advocacy for students with disabilities. Unfortunately, she could not be here tonight, but she was nominated by Dr. Michael McKee and others, and Mackenzie Jones will accept the award on her behalf. Mackenzie? Microphone will help. Last, but certainly not least, I want to reintroduce another giant of the Boston disability community. It is with great pleasure that I bestow the Disability Section's Advocacy Award to Bill Henry, who you heard from earlier, Executive Director of the Boston Center for Independent Living. Bill's advocacy has greatly improved the lives of people with disabilities, both in Massachusetts and nationwide. I first met Bill when he was an organizer on Cape Cod, Massachusetts in the mid-'80s. That dates both of us. He organized a group of disabled people to advocate for health reform here in Massachusetts that contains the first ever Medicaid buy-in program for people with disabilities. This has become a model for the 45, a round of applause for that, sure. This has become a model for the 45 Medicaid buy-in programs that now exist across the country. Later in his career, Bill worked with ADAPT to organize a group of advocates, including yours truly, to attend the 1990 protests that led to the passage of the Americans with Disabilities Act. With his support, several of us participated in the Capitol Crawl, which helped give the ADA the momentum it needed to pass. Later, he worked with ADAPT to advocate with Congress for funding to move people out of nursing homes, the theme he touched on tonight. And this resulted in the Money Follows the Person program, which has enabled tens of thousands of people across the country to move out of nursing facilities and into the community. Here in Massachusetts, Bill spearheaded efforts to improve access within several major Boston hospitals, including Mass General Hospital, Brigham Women's Hospital, and Boston Medical Center. As a result, these hospitals have made major upgrades in their physical access and systems. People receiving care from these hospitals have had much better experience with care as a result of Bill's work. Bill has also played a pivotal role in advocacy for the Massachusetts Personal Assistance Program for the past 3 decades, advocating for both consumer control and unionization for personal assistance. He's always wanted to highlight the accomplishments of others and put the voices of people with disabilities front and center. He's an extremely humble person who would never nominate himself for a reward. Therefore, it is important that we confer this award on him so that the impact he's made in the lives of people with disabilities is recognized. After everything he's done for all of us, that's the least we can do for him. So, Bill. So that concludes the award section of our meeting, and I will pass the mic back now to Karl. You got it.
I want to thank you all once again, congratulations to all the award recipients, very well deserving, and great to reflect on all the work that has been done in our field, and especially thankful to the awards committee and to Linda for putting that all together, and thank you all for being a part of that. So congratulations to both the committee and to the award recipients. Can we give another round of applause, everyone? Thank you. We do want to recognize some other awards that were given out before this conference, and that is our scholarships. As I mentioned earlier, through the CDC funding we received, we are able to present scholarships to several students to be able to, they can use it to help with their education, but also if they want to attend the conference, it can help offset the cost of attending the conference. To qualify for this scholarship, you have to have submitted an abstract to the disability section, and at that point you are invited to, as a student member, and at that point you're invited to submit an application. And especially excited to provide these scholarships to these 11 deserving students that we're able to acknowledge tonight. First of all, though, I want to make sure that I acknowledge the the scholarship committee, which includes, which was led by our membership chair, Yogai Eisenberg, and also included Meg Tracy, Vijay Vasudevan, Casey Herman, and myself. So thank you to them for the work that they've done in putting these scholarships together. I do want to acknowledge, though, the 11 recipients of the scholarships. If you are here, please stand or wave so we can acknowledge you as well. Mika Ball from the Indiana University of Bloomington. Miriam Goffin from the Department of Population Health at NYU Grossman School of Medicine. Kyla Helm from Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai. Emily Hicks from the University of Montana. Courtney Jost from Oregon State University. Jessica Lowe from Boston University School of Medicine. Junha Park from the University of Washington, Madison. What did I say? Oh, I'm sorry. University of Wisconsin, Madison. Well, those of you who know me know I won't mess this next one up because it's my home state. Lydia Smeltz, Penn State College Medicine. Michael Vetter, Brandeis University Schneider Institutes for Health Policy and Research and the Lurie Institute for Disability Policy. Weiwen Zhang from the University of Texas at Austin, Steve Hicks School of Social Work. And Yingying Zhang from the Washington University in St. Louis. So let's give a round of applause for all our scholarship recipients. And once again, thanks to the committee that awarded those scholarships, and especially a thank you to CDC for providing the funds that allow us to provide those scholarships as well to our students. Very excited to be able to continue to pay it forward, as it were, to our students to help them with their education and to participate in this kind of research. So with that, we want to thank you all for joining us for this year's awards reception. I do want to say that this looks a little different than last year's. Obviously, we don't have the food and drink that normally we would have associated with this event. Ultimately, we decided that it was going to be too difficult to do this in a safe environment with having people have their masks off. Some people didn't feel safe attending this event if that was going to be the case, and we want to respect that. So thank you to those of you that maybe are disappointed, but hopefully you'll understand why we made that difficult decision. Hopefully we'll eventually get back to a point where we can have food and drink at these kind of events, but for now we want to continue to do things in a safe way. So we look forward, hopefully you'll enjoy the remainder of this conference, and we hope to see you next year in Atlanta for APHA 2023, which will be November 12th to 15th. Thank you very much and good evening.